Yeah, she really did say that.
Yeah, she really did say that after she just got done Gaddafi and then laughed about it.
We came, we saw, he died.
We came, we saw, he died. The fact that any human being would ever do that. By the way he died, that's some theory.
I don't know how anybody can look at that and say that there wasn't aggressive violations of the law. What they basically did is they would take something that supported a Hillary Clinton campaign talking point and they would overemphasize it and exaggerate it. They took anything that actually contradicted that narrative and they buried it deep, and through that they actually laundered Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign talking points through the American.
Joe Rogan and JD Vance didn't just challenge Hillary Clinton, they obliterated her carefully crafted political image with precision and ferocity. In a relentless verbal assault, they ripped apart her scandals, mocked her hypocrisy, and dismantled the polished persona she spent decades protecting. This wasn't casual commentary. This was a ruthless takedown that stripped away the narrative of a seasoned stateswoman and exposed a career driven more by survival than service. By the time they were done, Clinton's legacy stood cracked and staggering under the weight of unfiltered truths she could no longer outrun.
Holy shit, Jamie, pull that video up.
I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone. If they've been working and are law-abiding, we should say, here are the conditions for you staying. You have to pay a stiff fine because you came here illegally. You have to pay back taxes, and you have to try to learn English, and you have to wait.
What do you want our intelligence community to be doing? I want them to be catching bad guys. I want them to be making sure that terrorists aren't going to kill innocent American civilians. I don't want them laundering Hillary Clinton's campaign talking points into the American media and giving them this air of legitimacy. It is sick and it's disgusting. It hurt the intelligence community, it hurt the American people, and it hurt the first Trump administration. We have got to have consequences for it, or we're just going to...
Hillary Clinton has weathered decades of political storms, scandals, reinventions, and media comebacks. Yet she still carries herself like the untouchable queen of American politics. But Joe Rogan and JD Vance weren't in the mood to bow down. This wasn't a coronation. It was an unfiltered demolition of a career built on calculated smiles, carefully rehearsed outrage, and decades of turning ambition into opportunity. For once, the polished facade couldn't protect her, and Rogan and Vance made sure of it.
If you watch the conversation between James Comey,
110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information.
when James Comey testified about what he did and what they found with the Hillary Clinton emails, and then her version of it.
I did not email any classified material to anyone. There is no classified material.
She's just a straight liar.
Rogan wasted no time dragging the myth of Hillary the Inevitable into the harsh sunlight. For years, the Clinton brand thrived on a false sense of immunity, as if the rules never applied to her. Rogan highlighted the absurdity of preaching transparency while emailing classified documents from a private server that sounded like it was set up in the back of a yoga studio. Even after years of media attempts to rewrite her history and soften her image, Rogan reminded everyone that the stench of past scandals still lingers like cigarette smoke in a cheap motel room.
It doesn't mean that Hillary would have been a good choice either. She was a terrible choice. She's a corrupt politician, one of the most unlikable people that's ever run for office. They were trying to get people to be supporting her just because she's a woman. This is going to be her history. Women, ladies, I stand with her. So there's all these women that have this blind allegiance towards this career politician, completely full of shit. She's been full of shit forever.
Then JD Vance stepped in, not with the slow, calculated tone of a political analyst, but with the blunt force of someone who grew up recognizing snake oil when he'll sees it. To Vance, Hillary wasn't just a former first lady or two-time failed presidential candidate. She was the poster child for Washington's elite safety net. He mocked how, despite losing the Oval Office, she still walked away with multi-million-dollar book deals, speaking gigs, foundations, and invites to the most exclusive cocktail parties. Vance's punchline hit hard. If failure pays this well, why would anyone bother winning?
So here we see JD Vance with Maria Bartiromo on Fox News Sunday.
I have to say, Maria, I laugh at the Democrats who are now all of a sudden so interested in the Epstein files. We know that Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of connections with left-wing politicians and left-wing billionaires, and now President Trump has demanded full transparency.
Rogan doubled down, arguing that Hillary's greatest political skill isn't leadership, it's survival. From Whitewater to Benghazi, to the Clinton Foundation's murky donor lists, she's endured scandals that would have sunk any other politician. But instead of drowning, she thrives, turning controversies into networking opportunities and leveraging crises into influence. Rogan compared her survival instincts to those of an apex predator, except instead of hunting prey, she hunts speaking fees, book deals, and elite power circles.
I don't like her. That was a lot of people's perspectives on Hillary Clinton.
I'm pretty sure everyone loved her. I'm pretty sure she
the
won.
most loved.
She's
Why?
cool. I just like I liked her. Who isn't?
Yeah, Bernie Sanders.
Okay, but did you vote for Bernie?
He wasn't available to vote for.
Did you vote in the...
I didn't vote in the primary.
Primaries, right.
Yeah. But I had him on my podcast, and he was very sincere.
Okay, cool. I've had my mom on my podcast. You want to flex?
Vance didn't let her off the hook culturally either. He skewered Hillary's failed attempts to brand herself as a relatable champion for everyday Americans, mocking her designer outfits and high-priced speeches that cost more than a small-town family's yearly rent. Every effort to seem authentic, he said, has the energy of a billionaire showing up at a barbecue in a baseball cap, hoping nobody notices the Rolex. Rogan added to the takedown, mocking her campaign gimmicks, awkward dancing, sipping beers, baking cookies, calling it all political cosplay. The moment the cameras shut off, she slides back into elite donor circles, speaking fluent insider jargon. Together, Rogan and Vance expose the performance for what it is, convincing only to those who want to be fooled.
To try to silence him and shut him up. And then consider, just yesterday, one of the chief surrogates of of Kamala Harris's campaign is Hillary Clinton. And you know what Hillary Clinton said yesterday? She said that misinformation should be met with criminal penalties. That we ought to throw people in jail and silence them if they say something that Hillary Clinton disagrees.
Vance shifted focus to a deeper issue, the generational chokehold Hillary represents. He argued that her entire political career is a case study in recycling the same faces through Washington like bad sitcom reboots. Every election, voters are told America needs her experience, her wisdom, her steady hand, as if younger leaders couldn't possibly handle power without her shadow looming over them. Rogan called this hypocrisy elevated to an art form, while Vance pointed out the ultimate irony. Even Hillary's losses turn into wins. Lose an election? No problem. There's a book deal, a documentary, and a front row seat at every think tank still pretending she's relevant. Vance framed it perfectly. In Washington, political failure isn't the end. It's a business model.
If you're guilty of massive amounts of misinformation and disinformation as a part of a propaganda campaign.
Attorney General Pam Bondi has directed federal prosecutors to launch a grand jury investigation into members of the Obama administration over the 2016 Russia investigation.
A lot of them are guilty of it. Yeah, a lot of the people that are in that White House press conference, a lot of the organizations they work for, distributed absolute lies.
Total lies.
Tulsi Gabbard declassified documents that she said shows Obama administration officials manufactured intelligence to make it look like Russia interfered in the 2016 election.
How many of them during the whole Russiagate thing?
A ton of people think that the Russia thing was real.
Yeah,
Still. I mean, the whole Steele dossier where it was completely concocted.
Funded by the Clinton campaign.
Correct.
The roast eventually shifted to Hillary's 2016 campaign, the grand production meant to cement her place in history. Rogan dissected the arrogance, complacency, and bizarre strategy that treated the presidency as a done deal. Instead of inspiring voters, it felt like a corporate rollout for a product everyone was told to buy. And when America rejected the pitch, Hillary's inevitability narrative exploded. Vance reminded viewers of the post-2016 blame game. Instead of genuine self-reflection, her camp handed out excuses like Halloween candy. It was the media's fault, the Russians, The FBI, misogyny, the Electoral College, even Mercury retrograde got blamed. Rogan added fuel to the fire, highlighting how her foundation operated with the secrecy of an offshore account, shattering her transparency claims.
On time. Was he?
He's so like when I met
charming.
him, he is, and he's actually still kind of good looking. Like even for an older dude, yeah, why not? He's still so good looking, and she's just so miserable.
Well, she's publicly humiliated, and she thought that her big retribution would become president. Become president.
Sure.
And then that would be it. All water under the bridge. I'm a strong woman. I'm running this country. And then America was like, nah.
Vance then zeroed in on the disconnect between Hillary and everyday Americans. The people she claims to fight for don't have international foundations, six-figure speaking fees, or private donor networks. They have bills, taxes, and jobs that don't come with VIP access to global power. Yet Hillary still delivers speeches about working families as though she understands their struggles. Vance delivered the knockout question. For all her years in power, all her influence, all her access, what's Hillary Clinton's greatest achievement? And the silence that followed was deafening.
And here's the thing. If you're willing, my friends, if you are willing to throw a person in jail because you disagree with what they say, then you're going to be willing to put a bullet in their head too. So the Democrats, I call on every leader in this country, not just tone down the rhetoric, but tone down the censorship. Let's have a debate with one another. That's what Americans do. Stop trying to silence people.
By the end of Rogan and Vance's roast, Hillary Clinton wasn't the seasoned stateswoman she portrays. She was revealed as a symbol of a political class that confuses persistence with progress. Her career appears less defined by public service and more by personal survival, clinging to influence while refusing to exit the stage. Rogan drove the point home by highlighting the image gap, the version of Hillary that political insiders worship versus the version the country actually experiences. In Washington, she's a heavyweight with a Rolodex that could double as a global power map. But to voters, it's the same recycled promises served on a different plate, leftovers from a dinner nobody wanted.
And there's so many people from the left that think she has the best chance of beating Trump or whoever is on the right, that they want her so bad. They're willing to exonerate her from so many different horrendous things. And one of the things I always point out, like, people want to talk progressive. You want to talk, being left-wing. And she didn't even believe in gay marriage until 2013.
The best part was she was on NPR, which is this far right fringe organization, right? NPR, Terry Gross. And Terry Gross says, you used to be against gay marriage. Your husband passed DOMA, which made it a federal law that gay marriage won't be recognized by the federal government. And you changed your position. Like, how did that happen? Was it because Americans became... And Hillary's like, well, America changed their point of view. She goes, no, I understand Americans changed their point of view. What was your mental process? And she goes, no, Terry, you're saying that I changed my mind.
Rogan argued that Hillary's political brand hasn't evolved in decades. You can change the slogans, swap buzzwords, and refresh the packaging, but the recipe never changes. More bureaucracy, more self-congratulation, and more entitlement. He also roasted her awkward social media persona, comparing it to a corporate brand desperately tweeting memes to seem cool. Every post feels scripted, stripped of personality, and uploaded with the excitement of someone explaining tax code. Vance added the ultimate irony. After years of carefully controlling the narrative, Hillary ended up losing control of it in the most spectacular way possible.
1,000 emails.
I provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related.
Several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton.
When they rigged the DNC, they rigged the primaries so that Bernie Sanders was going to lose.
I thought using one device would be simpler.
She also used numerous mobile devices to send and to read email.
She had her people into the DNC way in advance. That Donna Brazil book about it is mine.
Rogan poured salt on the wound, pointing out Hillary's unique ability to unite her critics while shrinking her base. Every time she re-enters the spotlight, her opponents multiply, while her supporters dwindle into a nostalgic core. Vance delivered the finishing blow, calling her career a symbol of entitlement, where the spotlight never truly leaves. It just waits for her cue. Rogan wrapped up with a brutal metaphor. Hillary's political career is like old software. It keeps getting updates. The menus change, the graphics improve, but the glitches remain. No matter how many times it's patched, America keeps wondering why it's still being used when better, newer, and more relevant options exist.